Hey everybody, my name's Audrey Earl, and if you're watching, and hopefully you actually must have to be watching, and you've stuck around long enough, this is the chick that digs the long ball. Um, Not gonna bore you with any excuses, school, graduation, work, looking for work, playing stay-at-home mom, none of that stuff. Been a long time, never mind. But it's been a long time, but I'm not gonna let that stop me because, you know, always thought about coming back for, a lot of sports stuff. World Series has happened, the Super Bowl happened, which I can talk about, and it just as quickly left my mind because I'm really forgetful. But what's finally brought me out to finally sit down and have the time and make room and remember to make a new episode. I guess it's the most talked about athlete right now, even with the Olympics going on right now. Most talked about athlete of the moment. Um, no, not Brett Favre, surprisingly enough, but actually Tiger Woods. Of course, this last Friday, he had his press conference, or what he called public statement, of apology in front of everyone. So we've had the weekend everyone's had the weekend to talk about it and to meditate on it and critique on it and let it marinate and simmer down. So I thought it'd be a great time to give my take on what I thought of it. So this is actually pretty huge. It was on not just ESPN or the Golf Channel or any kind of sports channel. This is daytime. This is in the morning on Friday morning. It was on the big three, the network television stations. It was on ABC, CBS, NBC. It was on CNN. It was on MSNBC, Fox News. So it's pretty much anywhere that has news. I mean it's daytime. It was morning daytime television on a Friday, but still pretty big to have this for Sports Star on all the major channels. So networks. So broadcast networks. So I guess the big question first is, did he really have to do this? Did he have to come out and make some public apology? It was in a small room with reporters or people that he knew. He referred to some of them as friends, people he's worked with. They only had like one camera or two cameras, I guess, because one, I guess, cut off and they had to go to a different camera, a different angle. He didn't ask, no one was able to ask questions after he was finished. So, but still, the fact is, did he really even have to go and do this? Is it necessary for him to apologize to people? Some people say yes, some people say no. It's a private matter, he doesn't really have to, but it's in the public. He doesn't really have to. It's tough, because I guess I personally would never expect this from Tiger Woods at all. So, you hold him to, you know, a different character, a different standard, because he's a public entity and a celebrity or something like that. So, yes and no. The most important people are those really in his life: his wife, his children, his mom, like you said, his wife's family, his friends, stuff like that. But then he also, maybe to his fans, his sponsors, which have now decided to drop him. Do they deserve an apology exactly? Because I guess, they dropped him as a sponsor because they don't think they can make money off of him anymore because, he's a liability. It's a dicey situation. Does he really? Yes, and maybe kind of no. It's his own life, his own private issue. He's a golfer, not anything else. He doesn't really owe us anything else, but when you put yourself out there, I guess, when we look to you as a role model, whether that's the right or wrong thing, you do something like this, cheat on your wife, have affairs, it's kind of disappointing for us. So maybe, an apology is great, is a necessity, I don't know. But along with his wife and children and family that he apologized to, he apologized to kids around the world that look to him as a role model, and their parents who pointed to him as a role model. I think that is kind of important to do that because, we say celebrities shouldn't be role models and athletes shouldn't be role models. Of course, there should be people in your neighborhood, priests and preachers and teachers and policemen and stuff like that, parents, they should be the role models for children. But celebrities are in the public eye, and sometimes when you look at, your child wants to be a golfer, a professional athlete, or you look at them and say, hey, that's a good example of someone with the athletic ability that you have or you can have, who worked hard to get what they are in their career as an athlete. And look, they're doing good things for their community as well. They make all this money, so they have charities and they're giving back, and they have a family. So I think it's reasonable to look at those people as role models, and it's not a bad thing. I think they can be. And so he has the two foundations for kids. He said in Southern California and in Washington, D.C. that him and his father set up. So he really apologized to those kids and promised to keep doing the work that he and his father set out doing 13 years ago, which I think is admirable. And I think they, more than any other people outside of his family and his personal relationships, maybe do, deserve an apology. One other thing is he talked about in the media how, if the kind of a running joke doesn't happen, if his wife Aylin kind of, beat him up or attacked him with a club or whatever, and he mentioned that, he categorically just said no, she didn't touch him Thanksgiving night when the incident occurred, the car crash accident. She's never laid a hand on him. It's deplorable that people say this, and what else? Do not blame Aylin. Did anyone ever blame Aylin for anything? Saying that she whooped his butt is not the same thing as blaming her, because I don't think anyone could blame her for doing that if she found out what he did. He's lucky to be alive after what he did. So I think anything has been a running joke. Maybe some people applauded, but I don't think anyone ever blamed her. I think everyone thought she was pretty justified if she did do these things. But, saying blame, and beyond not killing him, she helped save him when he crashed into a tree. She bashed in, it's a real wife, it's a real woman, bashed in the back windows and carried him out of the car and stuff like that. And took care of him while he's bleeding and he was on the floor while people called 911. That's loyalty. Whatever goes on after this, if they even stay together, but hey. So I don't think anyone ever blamed Elon, who, by the way, was not there during this presser. Of course, neither were the children. Who was going to think the children were there, but she wasn't there. His mother was there, so you can't really, it's not really a shocker that she wasn't there at the time. She's still trying to obviously get over this, and well, not get over, but kind of keep her space. Her them together. She visits him and stuff like that, but this is a pretty daunting task to really ask for her to be there. So, I guess the next thing he said that he's been in therapy since the end of December to early February, which is like 45 days. He called it therapy. People have been saying he's been in rehab, which, for sex addiction. I don't think he really had sex addiction. I'm no expert in the field. I don't really know. But, this isn't really... People said he tried to have kind of like relationships with these women rather than, just sex, have sex and leave them with some groupies or something like that. So I don't know if that's really constitutes a sex addiction. It probably is obviously some type of psychological or inner kind of problems, but wouldn't really call it rehab necessarily. You know what I'm saying?